Hey guys, it's Vince with Mastering the Method, and today we are going to be discussing how to solve that ooze problem that you have been encountering, many of you. I know I did when I first got my unit, and the main way to stop the ooze is to study the robot, or for that matter, any problem that it's having. Study the robot and watch the pattern that it follows. All robots follow a pattern. If you come up here to Advanced, and you go over here to Sensor Info, you're going to find that we have a hygrometer built into our method. And I've discussed this in a previous video. Makerbot really doesn't feel they're required to actually disclose this. I don't know why. You can see in Filament Bay 1, I've got 8%. Filament Bay 2, I have 6%. Those are excellent numbers in terms of what we have in relative humidity inside the bays. Now, for those of you wanting to know where this screen is, it's on the bottom of the sensor screen. It starts at tool heads, and then you just scroll down, and you'll see Filament Bays coming up right there. So, again, get used to using all your resources. Number one, follow suit with what the machine has and what it offers you in the ability to learn from. Not many printers, if any, I know of, have a hygrometer for its filament base. So the next thing you're going to want to do is come out on this menu, and you can see dry material. This is how we use the method to dry material if we have ooze. Now, before we do all that, I'm going to discuss something that's real basic, and everybody already knows this who's been involved in 3D printing. Desiccant packets. Desiccant packets are your best friend. This one, like many of the other ones I have, come with your Makerbot filament when you purchase direct from Makerbot. These are much nicer than the original ones they were giving you. These right here are 76 gram packets. You can see how many I have right here. And I have a couple more inside the bay. And that is the secret, guys, to reducing the relative humidity inside the filament bays. These bays are airtight, but without desiccant, you're not going to get rid of the humidity within the bay. So see, we have two culprits, and this is something that's not really discussed online much. At least I haven't heard it. First, you want to use your desiccant packets to remove the humidity within the environment that the filament is in. And that means where you're storing it. In this case, our filament bays. If you're going to continue to store your filament in the bay, I prefer to do that. You want to stuff these type of packets inside the bay with your filament. Now, of course, you cannot print with these inside the filament bay as these are too big. But that being said, if you leave two packets of this size inside the filament bay, leave yourself a little post-it note on each one of here that they have to be removed prior to printing. You'll keep your filament bays nice and dry in the sense of humidity. You want to stay in single digits, and you can get it really low. As a matter of fact, when I first got in here, bay 2 was at 1%. And then I opened it up and removed the packets. So just giving you an idea. And the reason I removed the packets from it is the other thing I wanted to discuss after drying, and this is a question that comes up all the time. How long do you dry your filament? We hear about it all the time. You dry your filament for as long as it takes. Am I telling you a direct hour? No, I'm not. Because we hear that other guys and other people and all these gurus tell you, hey, you need to dry your filament for 12 hours. You need to dry your filament for 10 hours. There is so many variables, I'm telling you this as an engineer, with manufacturing in terms of filament, that there is no way in hell anyone can tell you definitively how long it's going to take to dry your filament. You know what your best friend is to determine on PVA when your filament is dry? I'm going to back out of here. I'm back out of here again. I'm going to go to Material. I'm going to purge Extruder 2. Right now it's heating up. Now, here's the secret, guys. When PVA for the method, when it's dry, when the filament itself is dry, not the actual humidity in the bay. Do not confuse that reading with the humidity in your filament. That's two different things. When the filament is actually dry and you purge from Extruder 2 and you stop the purge, the filament will instantly break off when you stop the purge within maybe 10 seconds. If it does not do that, you have moisture in the filament. Is that an easy test? I feel it is. Right now we're getting there. It just curled up a little bit. Now it's coming out. You hear that popping, there's some bubbles for you. You want those bubbles removed. Let it run its full cycle. A lot of guys don't want to waste filament. They feel they're wasting filament. You bought a $6,000 machine, deal with the fact you have to use some filament to make sure your prints are perfect. I'm getting all those bubbles out of there until it's clean. And you can see I'm on the print bed right now. And you see how clean it's coming out. See how symmetrical everything looks? Now I'm going to hit confirm material extrusion. And when I do, if this filament is dry, like I said, within 10 seconds, it will break. Confirm. Let's watch what happens. It's not breaking, guys. See that? Now, I have not printed with my PVA for at least a couple months. Even though it's been in a dry environment, the filament still has moisture in it. And this proves it right there. There's no breaking. Now, had this had no moisture in it, I'm going to show you what it would do. It would just fall off and get real thin and then just break off. And that's exactly what it would do. Okay, guys, here's a quick reference tip. Here's some purge that I did out of Extruder 2. And I wanted to show you all of the bubbles that happened when this was extruding. This is why you want to run a full cycle. You can see how in the beginning of this it looks nice and clean, and then in certain spots the bubbles occur. See them on the back too? If your filament is coming out correctly, it should be smooth all the way through. If it does not look like this, you've got moisture in the filament probably all the way through, so be very careful. It should be nice and smooth. One concentric piece. Let's see if I can get this. That's why I'm showing you this on camera. It's very easy to determine when that filament does not look right, and this does not look right for your PVA. You could even see how gummy it was at the top. We're getting a little ooze right there. So that's already telling me if I went to use this in the condition it is, don't be surprised you're going to get ooze. No different than many of you. First thing you're going to learn with printing with two extruders is you need patience. Why do you need patience? Because you need to make sure your filaments are both dry. Like I said, even though your bay may be dry, as it is here and here, doesn't mean the filament within the bay is dry. That's where you need a filament dryer, or in that case, using the drying cycles within the method. Now we go to our dry material, and once again, you would follow through with a drying cycle. Now, my recommendation, you want to document what you are doing. And again, you want to document it with a pad. I have my pad right here. And document how many cycles you notice that the filament is requiring to start changing. I recommend starting with 24 hours and then go from there. Add another 6 hours after that 24-hour period. Running the filament first after the 24-hour run, just for a small print to see how your print looks. If the print has a lot of ooze, especially if you're using cloud print, you're going to find out right away. And I'm going to tell you another secret with cloud print. For all these people that keep printing all these purge towers, if your purge tower comes out like crap, your print is going to come out like crap. I don't know why people go past the purge tower if they already see the purge tower looks horrible. Think about it like this. If the printer can't print a little box, what makes you think it's going to be able to print your geometry? It should be printing everything virtually perfect. It's a robot. It's going to do what it's told to do with the G code that's provided. So if you notice your purge tower is all over the place and oozes everywhere, and I know Makerbot says, oh, it's okay if your purge tower doesn't look right. Well, actually, no, it's not. Because if the programming is correct, the purge tower should look just as good as the rest of the print because it's printing. So we have to think. We have to think before we just keep messing with stuff. This is an amazing feature once you learn how to use it, and it will make a tremendous difference in your prints. And you can see once again, I closed the door. I'm going to open it real quick. We do have that little bit of ooze, and that's what most of you deal with, and that's what most of you find inside your prints. So again, listen to what the printer is telling you. Your filament is talking to you. It's telling you you have moisture in it. So my next step would be to run a drying cycle, and I would, of course, put these inside the compartment. I'll put this inside there with it, and that is how I would dry out the PVA, and we'll be good. Okay, stay tuned for the next release of the video with the filament after the drying cycle.